Hey there, gamers. DreamcastGuy here. Today we're talking about Nintendo because they just released a statement that is so stupid. It's so outlandish. I truly don't even understand it, but they have announced they're increasing the price of the Nintendo Switch 1. Every version of it, OLED, non-OLED, but they also said they're jacking up the price of controllers, of digital and physical games. This truly boggles the mind, and I have to admit that I'm incredibly frustrated because this is the kind of stuff I think is going to kill gaming. More than anything else, it's just this ridiculous, rampant corporate greed. How the hell is this not $100 right now? Why are they about to make this thing $400? Let's talk about it. Let's take a look at their stupid excuses, and I want to just explain to you why this is measurably going to damage gaming. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, this is currently just being rolled out in Canada, but historically, whenever there's a price increase, it always ends up in every area, especially here in the United States. If they increase the price in Europe, those price increases always jump over the pond and land here as well. So currently, Nintendo of America has announced this. I think it's going to be worldwide. I think when they reveal these new prices, currently they're saying, we're increasing the prices, but we will tell you by how much coming up on August 1st, so in 1 month from tomorrow. I truly do believe that they're going to say at the same time, oh, this also affects the United States. But to be clear, they're blaming it on market conditions have changed. So therefore, we have to increase the price of the OLED, non-OLED, the Switch Lite, physical and digital games, accessories, Amiibo, even NSO memberships. This is the biggest reason I do not at all believe that this is just some market conditions. If it's digital or physical or NSO memberships, this digital only stuff, this isn't being shipped. This isn't being put on boats. It's not being flown across the sea. This is literally, in my opinion, maybe somebody can explain the math. This feels like they're just going, we can afford to rip you off a bit more, so we're going to do it. We know that you piggies will eat up the slop. And part of my frustration, there's like 5 layers to this. It's that, honestly, games used to get cheaper, obviously, right? But it's also the fact that right now, there is no Nintendo Switch 2 games. There's a couple, like, oh great, I can buy a $110 copy of Mario Kart World. That's how much it costs in Canada. They're saying that this is now about to be even more expensive. Like, how the heck? But also, let's just acknowledge the fact that this is a new era of greed. Like, people act like, oh, a lot of Switch games never really went on sale. That was the first generation where games didn't get cheaper. With everything else, the GameCube, the Game Boy, the GBA, all the other generations, not only would the console get cheaper with time, but so would the games. Nintendo is one of the first people I ever saw that basically, when a game sold a couple million copies, they were like, okay, we've made our money back tenfold, we've funded future development, let's make the games cheap as hell. They used to sell games, the Nintendo Selects, for $20 a pop and do pack-ins all the time, bundled software, and this did something incredibly important. It got new people into the ecosystem. You truly cannot put a price on that. Part of what makes, Metroid Prime 2 sell so good is Metroid Prime 1 getting so popular, right? The original Metroid Prime that came out, it was pretty popular, and then they put it on Nintendo Selects. A ton more people buy it. Oh man, this is so discounted. A $20 first-person space shooter on the GameCube? Of course I'll buy it, even if I don't typically know it, which means that now they're prepared for the sequel. It gets people excited. Same thing with, you guys truly cannot even imagine what it was like back in the Game Boy Advanced era, where games would come out, they'd be pretty popular, cool ports, stuff like Final Fantasy and stuff was on there, but then when they started to do discounted games, hey, here's a game for $10 or $15, a huge RPG for $15, especially because the Game Boy Advance later on was $99. I mean, stuff like that made it where people were like, okay, whenever the Wii comes out, I gotta get in on that next generation. Whenever the 3DS comes out, I gotta be in for that next generation. It's not just about, oh, they're losing money up front. It's the fact that these are already still profitable, but it makes it where people are still more excited for the future. And, oh yeah, that'll sell some units. Part of my annoyance is the fact that, as a person that grew up broke, these discount games are how I got into gaming. And also, I can't help but think about the fact that they're doing this because right now I do think a bunch of people are buying the Nintendo Switch 2 that maybe haven't played their Nintendo Switch much in the last 3 or 4 years when the first party stuff really dried up. There's a lot of people that are buying Nintendo Switch 2s. I 100% believe the reason they're doing this is because they see a spike in sales and accessories for the Nintendo Switch 1. Nintendo Switch 1 Pro controllers and stuff work on the Switch 2. I 100% believe they're doing this just to screw people over. Oh, you want to buy this? Well, now it's $20 more expensive. Oh, the controllers have to be double the price. This, to me, really is unprecedented. This is a level of greed and ignorance. And I'm sure some people are like talking about crazy. I remember when if you got a new system, the old system would get a deep discount. This is totally true. Whenever the PlayStation 2 came out, the PlayStation 1 got a severe price cut because they're like, hey, we want you to jump into the generation, but also it makes it where we can clear out this old stock. It's easy money. Here's all the previous stuff to get you excited about it, especially in this digital era. Hey, buy a PlayStation 1, buy a Nintendo Switch 1, get addicted to this, build up your digital library, and then whenever you get a Switch 2, you're even more encouraged to make that jump to next gen. Making this more expensive is not only going to be bad, it's going to create less total Nintendo players. Now, some people are pointing out the fact that, okay, this is because of tariffs. That's probably what it's going to get blamed on. Personally, the reason I don't believe it is that, yes, the United States president, every single day, the tariffs are different. They're 800%, they're 12%. I think I can't even imagine. I'm sure there's a website that literally tracks the day-to-day tariffs. And so a lot of companies have been very careful about, in my opinion, overpricing their stuff. If they put, $200 on the shelf, then even if the price of the tariffs go up and down, no matter what, they're in the green, which I still think sucks. But this is the thing is, Trump said over the weekend that he is terminating all discussions on trade with Canada. So a lot of people are thinking that that's what this is that somehow that's connected. I guess maybe somebody in the comments could explain it, but I guess I don't understand how the tariffs America is putting on Canada is going to affect game consoles coming in from Japan. Maybe there's something I just don't get. I'll fully admit that maybe all the Nintendo Switches for North America are actually being stored in the United States, so it means that every Nintendo Switch now has to cross the US-Canada border. That's an extra fee they have to pay. I guess the reason I don't like that excuse is that we know for a fact the Nintendo Switch has always been profitable. The Nintendo has said that. They've straight up said, we make these systems as good as possible with as many games as possible, as cheaply as possible. We try to make sure that even when we sell it, even if it goes on sale, we make sure that we're getting a big, juicy, profitable cut. And I still feel like there is no way this thing, which cost $350, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whenever the OLED came out, you cannot convince me that this thing now needs to go up in price. Nothing in the world can convince me you need to make this more expensive. I truly think every Nintendo Switch 1 console should have a $100 discount right now today. Right now, a just dramatic cut to the price. Straight off the top. Make the games, I think every game should be 20% cheaper. Every single game. I think all the games that are $60 should go down to like $45. Every single game. At this point, it's all raw profit. Are you guys really that upset about less profit? This is super stupid. Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm actually aggravated because this truly just shows the current era of Nintendo. How much can we possibly get away with? It's a scam. Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And please keep dreaming. When I was at the funeral yesterday, I was talking to my dad about when he bought me a Game Boy Advance for my birthday in early 2000s. I think around 2002, 2001. And I was talking to him about how, that was one of the first systems he bought purely for me. It wasn't like a shared, you and your brothers got to fight over this kind of thing. He bought me a Game Boy Advance. And I still remember playing that pink Game Boy because that was the only one that went on sale. And while I was playing it, it was so fun. And I was talking to Dad about, wow, that was so cool. And he's like, yeah, man, I just walked in the store and I said, what's the cheapest current game? And he went, oh, it's this thing. And I just think about the fact that if somebody's doing that today, some dad that doesn't know gaming walks into the store and says, what's the cheapest current game? What the hell are they going to point at? A $400 last gen OLED, I guess that's it. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.